24/7. You know, we don't put on a recruiting shirt and change what we are and, you know, have a happy glass of water and go get it. You know, we brought in high energy, high octane, passionate coaches that have a super high level of expertise, because the ability to connect is extremely important to us. I mean, what would you like for your son, right? You like your son to be around a high level of expertise guy that knows what he's doing, that has a super high care factor, that's going to bring it every single day. I mean, bring it. And so we just believe that you can't separate. You bring it for practice, but you kind of let your foot off the gas for recruiting, and you let your foot off the gas for, if you're recruiting, if you're playing checkers, if you're playing football, bring it.
There's been a trend in photo shoots and taking photos of the uniform and the helmet. You guys have really embraced that. How big of a part is that to the on-campus experience?
I think it's a fun thing. You know, I don't know if it's a deal breaker, but it's certainly fun. You know, I think the coaches have more fun than the players do. I mean, Coach Feld is on more photo shoots than any of our prospects probably, but I think our guys enjoy it. I think it's kind of neat. Sometimes the families are around and have a chance to take some family pictures, but it does create a memory, and a memory is always important in recruiting, right? Especially as the year goes on longer and longer, you'd like something to remind someone of, hey, that was a really special experience.
About 10 days away from the start of fall camp, is there anyone you can rule out for at least the beginning?
The only one I would say is Justin Collins, just because he's still rehabbing, but he's close. I know we'll have him for the season. I would hate to say on this particular date, but everybody else is good to go. We've been very fortunate. Strong off-season, really strong off-season. Our strength conditioning numbers have gone up, but this is a year that you've been really working towards, right? 18 months means 2 entire off-seasons in the weight room, and 2 entire off-season and fourth quarter programs with your strength and conditioning staff and your football staff running it. So the numbers and the results of this year are significantly different than year one, where you're kind of setting the base, setting the foundation. So that's exciting. That's exciting. But again, the accountability factor in the locker room is extremely high, and it's directed and guided by those guys over there.
You have one of the highest rated recruiting classes this past year, which means you have a lot of highly rated football players. Are there 1 or 2 guys that maybe were underrated that you're looking forward to seeing?
Gosh, I think so. I think there's a lot. You know, there wasn't a guy that we signed that we didn't feel could make some kind of an impact and help this year. So, well, where do I start there? I mean, there's 27 signees. If I name one, the other 26 are going to be upset, right? So, but no, I just thought that the importance of recruiting California and Southern Cal led, almost was like a fire starter, and really ended up leading to an excellent recruiting class. But I could answer that question probably in about 14 days. I feel pretty good about it. By 14 days, I'll send you a nice little.
What have you been seeing from Mikael Wright, one of those high-profile recruits you brought in?
Oh yeah, he's special now. He is. He's as explosive and as body quick. His foot and body quickness, his balance and body control are off the charts. Natural ball skills. I mean, he tracks the ball extremely well. Very explosive. He's specialist flow, returns kicks, returns punts. Very quiet. Quiet, but he's a jokester too. He likes joking around. Great family. Certainly a guy that was a huge piece of the recruiting class, one of the best corners in the country. And after just watching him move around and practice with us, rightfully so, he's going to have a tremendous impact this year.
All right, I know you can't speak about what happened during 2016 because you weren't here, but that time Troy and a couple other guys that were younger stepped up and said the culture wasn't right with the program. How has it changed since you showed up after that season till now?
Well, I think the first thing is to say that, you know what, it may not have been right, but we like to turn the focus to all the right things that happened before that, and even maybe some of the positive things that happened that year, because when you come into a place, I really believe this. I've seen it from all ends, man. When you come into a place, you respect those that came before you. There's nothing worse than hearing, someone coming throwing someone else under the bus. That's horrible. And so I think our players, we gain more and more of an understanding of the great tradition at Oregon. And I had to be educated upon it, right? Where am I from? I'm from the other side of the world, right? I mean, one good boat ride, and I'm in Cuba, right? So I'm on the other side. I had to learn all this stuff. And so because of all that, I've been educated. The players have been educated. We've had so many former players come in, meet, speak with our guys. that they understand like this thing was strong for a long time, and Troy and Justin came to Oregon because of that strength. And so when they were presented with this culture and with this regimen, because I can be difficult. I can be a little bit difficult. It was demanding, and I was like, man, how's this going to be taken in? Is it going to be accepted? And not only did they accept it, they enforced it, they enhanced it. So we really believe that's been the ultimate difference in our football team, and we believe it'll be a key factor in our success going forward.
Correct the drops, the wide receiver drops. I know that was a little bit of an issue last year.
Yes.
Must have been frustrating for the quarterback, but
Yes.
I mean, do you make him carry around the football for a whole week? I mean, what do you do to?
You saw the movie The Program. Okay. Well, we had I think it was 50 plus drops, and which I think led the country. And honestly, I blame myself. I blame us as coaches. We should have done a better job teaching it, because catching the football is still a technique. It's a fundamental, and we could enhance that if we teach it the right way. Now, that being said, we have our new wide receiver coach, Coach Bo, does a great job. He has enhanced our technique and our ability to catch the football. We reduced the number of drops by almost 80% during spring ball. That also goes with the fact that alignment and assignment, and then all these new guys that we have signed, have really upped the level of competition in that room. And my old coach way down south used to have us in a team all together, used to say, I know what'll fix this. Competition will fix this. You know, when the guy behind you is chomping at the bit and nipping at your heels, you know, in an attempt to push for that playing time, everybody's sense of urgency elevates. And we've introduced competition the right kind of way. The level of urgency and attention to detail has elevated, and we've had tremendous improvement in the spring, and we have to carry it over and improve in the fall as well. But you're right, it is something that has to improve, and it starts with technique and fundamentals, and then it spills over to alignment and assignment.
Mario, on that vein about the receivers, not on Jalen and Brendan, but they are both converted defensive backs by trade. With that said, can Josh and Micah push either of them in fall camp for a starting job for that opening?
Those guys
put a
can.
true freshman in that spot against that secondary and Kevin Field and everything in that.
Those guys can push, and they can push the entire year, not only for the opening game, without a doubt. Josh, Micah, both those guys proved, Jawan, they all proved that they can play. Brendan Schooler had a phenomenal spring. You know, Johnny Johnson had a really good spring as well. Jalen, all those guys have stepped up, and I really believe this. Those guys have done a good job taking it upon themselves to better the culture in the wide receiver room. And a lot of that goes with Coach Bo and a couple guys that we have hired as analysts, you know, Prince of Skill and our GA and Jonathan Krause. Those guys, they have really good relationships with our players. So the combination of all those things, they know it has to be better and it has to change. It has to, for us to be successful with that quarterback back there, it is probably the most important thing we do on the offensive side.
How much does
USC is back on the schedule this year for you guys. Can you talk about the stress that the air raid offense puts on the defense, and you'll be facing it twice in this year?
Well, it's obviously it's a very challenging offense, and I think when you think of USC and the caliber of athletes that they have, obviously they not only are they talented, you know, they're a well-coached football team, and with a schematic change like that, you know, it potentially presents a lot of problems, you know, and certainly I know they have a really strong front seven returning, some really talented defensive players, so we know they're a really good football team.
How much does a healthy Cam McCormick change that tight end position and just what you can do offensively?
Drastically. I mean, that position, when that position is an effective blocker as well as a receiver, it changes your entire offense. Living with open edges isn't exactly our world. Some people do great in it and they specialize in it. We prefer to have the ability to do both, go open edge and also use a tight end. So a healthy Cam McCormick with a Jake Whelan weighing 251 pounds now, it lends to us having better success at the tight end position.
You said competition is best. Is that a position that Cam, you said competition was best, and Cam started earlier last year. Does he assume that role again, or does he got to earn it back?
Oh, I think we're going to open that up. To me, you know how we start ball? We start not with a depth chart, we start with an organizational chart. That's how we do it. You know, this is how we're going to practice, and you guys go win those jobs. In terms of depth, don't talk about depth till the day before the game. That's when we'll settle depth. You know.
Coach,